Thank you guys so much for being here. It's always such a privilege to be able to come and just share the science behind our healthy living lifestyle. So I'm going to go ahead and jump in. Today, we're going to be diving into what really causes insulin resistance. And I promise you, it is not just about eating too much sugar. So we're going to talk about why insulin is called the master hormone. We're going to talk about the number one cause of insulin resistance. And I'm going to give you some simple, just natural steps that you can start using right away to become more insulin sensitive again, which is what we all want to be. So if you're watching live, I'd love you to type live in the comments. If you're watching on replay, please type replay. I love to hear where you're watching from. So if you'll just put hashtag live and Colorado or hashtag replay Florida, wherever you are, just put that in the comments. And before we jump into insulin resistance, I always like to just take a moment to introduce myself, especially if you're new here. We have new people joining the group all the time, which is so exciting. But a few years ago, I was in a very different place. I was exhausted. I was inflamed, filled with inflammation, confused by all the conflicting nutrition advice, and honestly, just stuck in the diet cycle I thought I was never going to get out of. I believed the lie that it was impossible to lose weight and keep it off. But in 2019, everything changed. I discovered a way of eating and living that finally made sense. It's a way that worked with my hormones instead of against them. And in 1 year, I lost 120 pounds, and I've been able to keep it off ever since. And that transformation lit a fire in me because I didn't want to just get healthy for myself. I wanted to be able to help other people do the same. So I got certified through the Dr. Sears Wellness Institute. And since then, I've helped thousands of people in both Beyond Keto as well as in my Real Health Resolvers group to reverse insulin resistance, to lower their inflammation, to lose weight, to get off medications, of course, with their doctor's supervision, and to finally feel in control of their health again. So there are so many stories that you can read about right here in the Beyond Keto group. If you just click on guides, you'll find success stories, and there's 2 full categories filled with stories of people just like you who have completely changed their lives. Hundreds of people inside Real Health Resolvers who have completely regained their health. So if you're new here, I just want to say welcome. You are in a safe place. And if you've been feeling stuck, if you feel overwhelmed, or you feel unsure where to start, believe me when I say I get it. I was there for so long. All right, so let's go ahead and dive in what you came for. Let's start with insulin, okay? Because that's truly where everything begins. Insulin is often called the master hormone because it tells your body what to do with energy. So it's going to ask, do we burn this? Do we store this as fat? Do we keep sugar in the blood, or should we move it into the cells? All right. And insulin is made by your pancreas. And basically what it does is it acts like a key that unlocks your cells so that sugar can move from your bloodstream into the cells and then be used for energy. So every time you eat, especially if you eat foods with carbs, including vegetables, okay, and berries, things that we do eat on our plan, insulin gets called onto the field. Okay, and a little insulin is important. It's totally normal. Okay, but when insulin is constantly being released, that's when problems start. Okay, so if this makes sense so far, I love to just keep tabs and make sure that what I'm explaining is making sense. Just type makes sense in the comments, okay? And I'll keep my eye on the comments to see. Hi, Joy Latito. Hi, Helga. Hey, Janet Goebel. So glad all of you all are joining us. Marge Swanson, I see you're on. Welcome. Teresa Fox, so good to have you from Idaho. Joy Monk, good to have you here. Bitsy Hall and Sue Ambrose and Deborah Myers and Linda Louise Mick, good to have you. Tracy 20, so good to have you here. Bitsy Hall, welcome, welcome everybody. So good to have everybody joining us. There's more of you on, but that was all I could see in that moment. But just type in the comments if that makes sense, if you understand what insulin is based on that description. Just type the words makes sense in the comments. All right, so most people think that insulin resistance is just about sugar. Okay, well, sugar absolutely plays a big role, but the real issue is what constant eating and our modern lifestyle do to your insulin over time. Okay, here are some reasons that insulin never gets a break. Okay, when you're eating all day long, which if you're like me, you were probably taught you need to eat breakfast, then a snack, lunch, then a snack, then dinner and a snack. Eat 6 small meals, eat every 2 hours. Okay, so if you're doing that, if you're eating all day long, if you're snacking in between every meal, if you're consuming processed foods, if you're drinking sugary drinks, and yes, that includes not just soda, but things like juice, all right? If you're under chronic stress, or if you're filled with inflammation, or if you're just lacking sleep, your body is basically being shouted at all day. Store this, store this, store this. All right. So when that happens constantly, your cells start to tune out insulin. So in other words, when insulin's trying to take the nutrients to the cell is no longer responding. Okay, that's insulin resistance. And your body has plenty of insulin, but your cells stop listening. They stop responding. That's what insulin resistance is. And that's when blood sugar starts climbing. Okay, belly fat gets harder to lose, that visceral fat that surrounds our organs. Your energy crash. You might feel like in 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you can do, it's like you are fighting with every might of your being to be able just to keep your eyes open because you just feel exhausted. All right. Or you might feel cravings that are just out of control, like you cannot stop yourself. So if you've been dealing with slow weight loss or low energy or sugar calling your name all day long, this is probably what's happening inside your body. Okay, even if your doctor has not referred to it as insulin resistance yet, what I'm describing is insulin resistance. All right, so you've probably been told that diabetes is permanent. Your only option is medication. The best thing you can do is just manage it. All right. Well, medications do have a job. They'll help to lower your blood sugar. Okay. But their job is just to manage. It's not to heal. The root cause of most prediabetes and type 2 diabetes is insulin resistance. Okay. And that is highly responsive to lifestyle and nutrition. So if you're thinking, you know what, this sounds too good to be true, I want you to hear Janet Benedict Mason's story, and I'm sharing this with her permission. She's actually shared this. She's one of those success stories you can read about in our Beyond Keto group. So Janet joined my Real Health Resolvers group program in March of 2025. She was diabetic. She was taking 15 pills a day. She was on stomach medications, blood pressure medications, multiple pain medications, diabetes medications, plus several inhalers. And she truthfully felt stuck. And she was told that this was just how it was going to be. But in just 5 months of following the Real Health Resolvers lifestyle, which includes real food, whole foods, not processed garbage, it's low carb. We include a lot of healthy fats. We have specific meal timing. and the support that she received, here's what happened for Janet. She lost over 30 pounds. She's no longer diabetic. She went from 15 medications down to only two. She takes B12 for anemia and she takes Singulair for asthma. But her doctor gave her a clean bill of health and told her, this program is great, stick with it. So she breathes better. She needs far fewer inhalers, and she's now healthier than she has felt in years. And remember, Janet is a senior. She mentioned that when she shared her testimonial, and she says she's learning to enjoy the new her. So if Janet's story gives you hope, just type hope in the comments here. I love to just make sure you guys are still with me. Type in the words hope. All right. Or if you are experiencing these changes, you've joined our Real Health Resolvers group and you're seeing the difference that this lifestyle makes. Share your story in the comments. What you share can absolutely encourage others that this can happen for them too. But here's, in a nutshell, what Janet Benedict Mason shared. She said, I'm no longer a diabetic. I have a clean bill of health now, and my doctor thinks this program is great. I feel so much better and can breathe better despite having asthma. And she only has one lung. She says, I've lost over 30 pounds and I'm healthier now than I have been in years. I'm a senior and learning to enjoy the new me. So Janet is proof that she was capable of doing this. And so if she can do this, you can do this. You are not stuck, right? I used to feel so stuck. I would wake up every morning with just a huge weight on my chest, feeling like nothing's ever going to actually work long term. All right. I had gotten to the point where I thought maybe God just wanted me to be fat and happy, but I felt like I was too old to make a difference. But I'm telling you, you're not too old. Okay. And my dad is another example of this. My mom, at 76 years old, they both started this plan. My dad had an A1C of above 10. He was able to bring that down to 5.3. My mom's was almost at 10. Hers is now at 5.3. My dad lost 140 pounds. My mom lost 77 pounds. They've been able to keep it off now over a year. All right. So regardless of where you're starting, just know this can work for you. So I want to talk about the number one cause of insulin resistance. Okay, as I mentioned, yes, sugar matters and processed food matters. Okay, but the biggest driver is what I mentioned, insulin never getting a break. Okay, when you eat from morning until night, you snack between meals, you sip the sugary drinks or even the healthy drinks that are labeled as, healthy or energy drinks, those kind of things, they're going to spike your blood sugar, which creates the response of insulin. When you live under that constant stress, when you don't sleep well, your insulin is on duty all day long. Okay. And a hormone that never gets to rest becomes a hormone that your body will eventually just stop listening to. So the number one cause of insulin resistance is constant stimulation of insulin. Okay, from food, snacking, stress, processed foods, okay, without enough recovery time. So once you understand that, reversing insulin resistance becomes much clearer. So let's bring this plan down to what you can do today. Okay, I want to give you some simple, just natural steps to become more insulin sensitive. Okay, the first thing is eat real whole food. Okay, build your meals around healthy fats, lots of good healthy fats from things like avocado, nuts, seeds, olives, olive oil, coconut oil, salmon. Okay, good healthy fats, protein, and then low carb veggies. You want to stay away from the root vegetables like potatoes and yams and sweet potatoes. You want to stay away from things like rice, even if it's brown rice, even if it's whole wheat bread. Stay away from rice and pasta and crackers. And of course, the sugary snacks and the processed snacks. Okay, stick with the real whole foods. Okay, number two, stop grazing. Aim for 1, 2, or 3 solid meals per day and give yourself time between the meals, ideally at least 5 hours, and count from the last bite of food that goes into the first bite of food. Give yourself 5 hours so that you're not triggering insulin during that time with no snacking in between. Okay, that's going to give your insulin the break that it needs. And I loved hearing what you guys shared. I posted today in the group, have you ever gone a full day without snacking? A lot of the people who responded have been through my challenges here in the Beyond Keto group. A lot of them are in my Real Health Resolvers group, and they are absolutely able to. I believe Helga, who's watching now, shared because she gets her high fats, she can go 6 to 7 hours without eating. Okay, guys, I'm telling you, I was a carbaholic. And even when I did traditional keto in the past, I was constantly eating. If I went on a road trip and we stopped at a convenience or we stopped to fill up with gas, I'd run in the convenience store and grab a beef stick or a thing of almonds or a hard-boiled egg. I was constantly eating. Even if it was healthy, it's still triggering some insulin. That's the biggest difference. I was not giving my body that break from digestion and the break from insulin. All right, the third thing is close your kitchen at night. All right, give your body a nice long window without food before you go to bed. All right, that's going to help lower your insulin. It's going to support your fat burning, and it's going to stabilize your blood sugar. And number 4, move your body just gently. You don't need extreme workouts. All I did when I lost the 120 pounds was walk. Just a 20-minute walk, even just 3 days a week, it's going to help your cells respond better to the insulin. Okay, you do not need extreme workouts in order to make progress. And actually, sometimes they can slow your weight loss progress because you're going to be shifting your body composition, building muscle, but you're not going to see the results on the scale. And then that's going to affect you mentally to the point where you may not continue. All right, so just do easy movements of your body. All right, get something like a rebounder. A lot of us in our group, Joy Latito, I believe, is on. She motivated all of us in Real Health Resolvers, and we love our rebounders. You know, you don't even have to do that though. Put on a YouTube video, go for a quick walk, take the steps, add the movement in throughout the day. All right. And then the 5th and final one for this session is to support your stress and sleep. Okay, stress hormones will push your blood sugar up, and sleep deprivation makes cravings worse, and it makes it so much harder to control your blood sugar. So start with just one simple step. Go to bed a little bit earlier, all right? Create a nice, calm wind down routine that sets your body up to know, okay, it's time to start relaxing. I'm going to be going to sleep soon. And if you hear these things that I'm saying today and you think to yourself, you know what, I can start with at least one of those, right? I just named 5 very real things you can do. Just type I can in the comments to let me know you're here with me. If you can do this, type I can. All right. And if you're worried about prediabetes or diabetes or even insulin resistance, okay, here are 2 tests to ask your doctor about. First of all, ask for the fasting blood glucose test, and then ask for your A1C, all right, which is your 3-month average of your blood sugar. And these numbers will help you see where you are right now. Okay, they're also going to see you so that you can see how you progress and as you make these changes that I'm talking about. So if you've ever had your A1C checked, type A1C in the chat so that I know that you're here. Just type the words A1C. All right, so here's the big takeaway. Insulin is your master hormone for energy and fat storage. Okay, I love the description that Dr. Sears gives. He says that your insulin as the master hormone, he said, imagine your body as like a symphony. Your insulin is the conductor. It's telling all the other hormones what to do. And when insulin is present, fat-burning hormones will not come out. So you cannot burn fat in the presence of insulin. That's why insulin is known as the fat storage hormone. All right. The number one cause of insulin resistance is that constant stimulation of insulin, all day eating, snacking, processed foods, the stress, the inflammation. So, with simple natural changes to how and what you eat and when you eat, plus support of getting your movement in, which will help reduce stress as well, and making sure you get enough sleep, you can become more insulin sensitive again. Okay. Just like Janet did, just like my dad and mom did, just like I did. And so many of our Real Health Resolvers are doing it right now. So if you're struggling with diabetes or pre-diabetes or insulin resistance and you want support with the exact plan that helped Janet lose over 30 pounds and reverse her diabetes, help my dad lose 140 pounds, help my mom lose 77 pounds, help me lose 120 pounds, just type RHR, that stands for Real Health Resolvers, in the comments. And I will send you the details just privately. I'll just send you a link. I am not a high pressure salesperson by any means. I will just send you something so you can see if you feel like this is the next right step for you. All right. So thank you guys again so much for taking your time to join me today. So whether you were here live or you're watching on the replay, just know my heart is to help you. I want to support you in this. I want to see you experience what I've experienced. And that's what drives my passion, is to share this with others. Because when your body responds correctly, when you start fueling it the way God intended for you to, and it's responding to what you're giving it, it changes everything. All right. And it can start responding to this lifestyle that we all live. So I would love to welcome you into Real Health Resolvers. Please comment RHR. I'll reach out to you with a simple link, and any questions that you have, I'm always happy to answer. So thank you so much for being here, and I look forward to chatting with you guys hopefully soon and welcoming you into our group. Have a great afternoon.